Hi. So, welcome on this presentation. It's called Glitching the Matrix, Real-World Pitfalls in Building Autonomous AI Agent for Cybersecurity. So, few words about me. I'm Michal. I'm founding cybersecurity researcher. Almost 10 years in cybersecurity. I hold some certificates, and I'm bounty hunter and script kiddie. I hold some Hall of Fame like Microsoft, Oracle, IBM, NVIDIA, Yahoo. Also, I hacked the Stanford University once. So that's about me. So I just added this slide because I noticed that there was nothing about our company. So I work at Krakenbyc.ai, and we built autonomous agent for cybersecurity, and there is a cool story behind that. So our founders are from Ukraine, and the first iteration of the tool was during the first Russia invasion on the Ukraine, and they built a cybersecurity agent which is battle tested and to this day is fighting on side of the Ukraine. And yeah, that's it about our company. Right now we are just moving to the SaaS version, so it will be available for the other governments and big companies. So why this talk matter? So before submitting this presentation, I was thinking like what I can present, like what is cool, and I sync with my colleagues from the company, and they thought, yeah, everybody is building something, and everybody is promising the super results, but the real question is it working? People want to see it's working. So I thought myself, okay, so maybe instead showing the real result, we'll show where did we fail, so you can have some real input from this presentation, and it's kind of funny. So our old infrastructure architecture was just simple front end, back end, which was orchestrating the agent and worker. The worker is something that we provide for the customers, and it's a hands of AI, and it's execute what the backend told it to do. Like, you want to run an Nmap scan on this, okay. So demo will be later, so don't worry, you will see how the whole application looks like. So yeah, this is the old architecture. It was working only on a simple task, like there was no real modularity, which was a huge problem for example, for the red team operators. We were approached at the black hat by some red team operators from some intelligence from the company, and they asked us, okay, can we install the tools? We can install for you. No, not that kind of tools we are sharing with anybody. So you can imagine what tools. So I just gathered some logical blocks during the creation of our AI agent, where it failed and what was the problems. And I think it's still happening, like besides doing like cybersecurity research in my company, I do a lot of testing other agents, other companies' agents, and I also hack the AI in like do AI red teaming and adversarial machine learning. So I see some common mistakes that are cool to show and talk about it. So it's already outdated presentation because we are in super development mode in AI. Like, you can just open the X and probably there is something new about the AI agents. But this is something we had problem with our agent like back in 6 months ago or 8 months ago or something like that. So it did not understand some simple failures like WAF or firewall was blocking the access to the target, and it was okay, maybe try it a different way, maybe do that, maybe I'm wrong or something like that. So this is the first issue I thought is really common in AI agents. Another thing, focus on noise instead of signals. What I mean about that is when you are doing pen test and you have some experience in the pen testing, you know where to look right away. For example, if you do Nmap scan and you see open port 22, okay, but I'm not going to try any credentials. I mean, you can try, but if this is like high responsible company, it's just waste of time. So you want to focus on the web apps or other protocols that might lead to remote code execution. So another thing we approached during the creating of our agents was he did not understand what he's reading. So poor creation of the tools or output of the tools was just misread, and it led to some weird situation where the agent was doing random stuff. This is the example of our agent reading some unnecessary like index page without like understanding what is going on. Instead, like for example, starting of doing simple enumeration, like if you're a pen tester and you have any experience, first thing you will start is fingerprinting the whole application and start doing like clicking through the application to understand the business logic and see all endpoints that is visible for the customer. And then maybe you will move to the brute forcing directories. Misread blocks as tool. So this is example of Nikto scan. Right now, I don't know if someone is using Nikto, but that was one of the problems. He was like trying to run the Nikto scan and saved output to the file, and the comment did not produce any output. So he think, okay, there is no output, so I need to run the scan again, for example. And this is something that was really problematic. Like few months ago, like there was no Opus 0.5 or something like that. We tried different models and tried to fix everything with the system prompts. And if you fix something in a system prompt, yeah, for example, if you are doing like enumeration on a target, maybe in the future try to brute force some points. So the first thing, always our agent started, it was brute forcing the endpoints on the target, which is not reasonable without mapping whole the website and see what it's doing. Like if this is like from the perspective of pen tester, it's just simple VPS connection web app. So you don't need to do the huge brute forcing on the endpoints. Another example, like of the noise over the signal, like it's stuck with third-party JavaScript files, like jQuery or something like that. Start reading that. It leads to context bloating. So it's not super important to read the jQuery libraries if you are not looking for the 0-day in the jQuery or whatever. And this is something that happened in older models, like imaginary context, non-existing word list. So we run the agent, he was doing a pen test. Okay, so right now I will use some word list that probably I was trained. My data set was, the word list was included in my data set. So yeah, I remember this word list, so I will try to use this word list, but the word list on the worker don't exist. So it kind of leads to overfeeding the rack. Random chunks of memory was like overfed with something like jQuery informations. So it's not super important, and context is bloated, information is bloated. You don't need that. So unfortunately, I don't have screenshots out of that, but one time our colleague ran it on some target, and our tool generated like 400 gigabyte download file with nowhere. There was no database or nothing, and it led to disaster. And this is really cool. Like if you have like super complex system prompt where you include tools that you prefer or something like that, it starts looking for the tools, similar tools, and if there is no tool on the worker, it starts installing tools and doing like kernel upgrades. Yeah, let's do sudo apt-get, install this, install that, and instead focusing on the target, it starts focusing on doing stuff that is unnecessary in the pen test. So this is example of our artifacts that we collect during the execution of some comments. And yeah, let's run the recon on the Spotify and see if we find something cool. And boom, we have like scripts all over the place that are unnecessary and not really relevant to the current process. So here's example of the lack absence of tools. In this situation, it's not a tool, but he wanted to do some enumeration of, I think, subdomains or maybe endpoint enumeration. And he see, okay, I remember this sec list. It's pretty cool, but if you git clone the sec list, it takes some time because it's huge repository. Yeah, so there's a rack paradox. So I already mentioned it, too big, too poorly formatted output, which is something that don't help, but it just wastes tokens and it's waste of performance. Yeah, butts of chunks from unrelated files mixed in, like this jQuery stuff or Spotify, like you saw Spotify JavaScript files. It's useless. So also there's the problem that we saw that is sometimes it's not deterministic. Like in previous models that we used, you could solve one hack the box machine in 10 steps, but another time you run the same prompt and it could not do it in 100 steps. So, and my favorite, the classic mismatch, the customer's expectation and what the LLM wants. So during the Black Hat, we were doing presentation demo of our tool, and yeah, people was, oh, it's hacking, but the hackers that's approaching us saw it's hacking, but the like CISO or something like that, okay, I just see rough logs output and nothing else, but to be honest, LLM don't need to see what is happening. He want to like just HTTP request response to see what is on the website, for example. So we provided the simple like web agent that can do this and visualize what is happening. And this is what LLM really care about. Even if you create like web agent for him, he prioritizes the curl because he can read it faster, like just a chunk of text and it's okay, I understand what is happening on the website. But the problem of the using only curl, it can miss DOM-based cross-site scripting, for example. Oh, red teaming versus red taping. Security task versus model refusal. So we know that most of the models will refuse some kind of task you wanted to ask. Like my previous speaker told, the Opus 0.46 is not refusing. Let's try write malware or C2 to control the taken network. I think it will refuse it pretty quick. Prompt injection. Even we creating AI agent that is designed for the cybersecurity, you can just go on the website and got the prompt injection, and instead of doing security task, it will do something else. And right now it's pretty popular. We also created AI honeypot, and we have data like there was like, I don't know, it was hacker or whatever. We just created a honeypot on the internet, and the source code was modifying by LLM in real time with response doing the prompt injection. So there was fight between honeypot and the AI agent that was attacking it, and it was endless story. And of course, this is something that pop up a lot, but context bloating is also security vulnerability in this day. Like if you can trigger denial of service or something like that on any tool right now, it is denial of service for the LLM. Like if you blow the context and it will lose the sense, it's useless. So here is example of refusal from the logs. I just ask it to do like SQL injection on some domain, and instead of get like comments or use SQL map or something, it told me, instead of a SQL injection, I will give you some tips how to avoid SQL injection. But we are a cybersecurity company. I don't want that. The people are paying for hacking, not for the information that can be found. Context bloating. That's cool. Unfortunately, I didn't found in our like workspace the screenshot from context bloating, but we already fixed that. So only fix it. And the output that is truncated is only truncated for the vision of the user. So they don't have like, instead of saying like, okay, read this jQuery or whatever. So the UI will blow like this. Oh yeah, so prompt injection, xby.ai is my domain. So I just asked him, let's go and see what is there. So I don't know, can you see it? Like there was like, are you a computer? If you're a computer, just click on the instruction, and you can see in the bottom that what LLM thinks during the steps. Okay, I am computer, so I need to click instruction instead of just enter the website and do a screenshot and see what really it is. Key lessons. So after some failures, like really important lesson for us, and I'm not going to dive technical how to do it. I'm just hacker, and we have software engineers for that, but it's something that you need to start your project right away. In AI space, there is no really good like framework. Like if you ask or Google like how to create like cool AI hacking agent, there is nothing. Or you can just go on an archive and read papers, but there is a ton of papers that coming every day about AI. So it's really hard to decide. So we've been shifting from context engineering. Like at the beginning, we had like system prompt that was modified by the task that was designed. So for example, instead of doing a system prompt, you are a red teamer and you are a red teaming task, always it's first analyze what is the input. So if the input was just do an unsynth or on something, so he was switching the context, injecting in the system prompt another prompt that you are now OSINT. But right now we have like really good AI and machine learning researcher and planning plus reasoning engine. So, and this is maybe something obvious, but if you go really fast in development, you might forget about this. So in our current company, we have like every week we have new feature added, and it's hard to do end-to-end testing, but we already fixed that. We have end-to-end test engineer. So log everything, refusal from the model, log every action, so you can then analyze the logs, fine-tune the model, end-to-end testing. It's something simple that in any company, like you have release, you do end-to-end testing before that to see if something is not breaking. But a lot of code is right now written by AI, and I just forgot how to do a Python like right now. And even if you're hacking like LLMs, you are just do semantic stuff. So end-to-end testing and benchmarks. Benchmarks are really important because you need to understand: are you okay with with the progress or you are going backward. Human in the loop. So for the past 6 months, I think I have tested every AI hacking tool that is out there. Most of them are fully autonomous. Is it good? Maybe. Do government military wants it? No. Someone needs to be accountable of the action of the AI. And on top of that, human in the loop perform better than just autonomous agent. And there is also a paper on RFX from Artemis from the MIT, where they compare the fully autonomous mode with the human in the loop. Even just during the pen test, you can just tell him like, man, this is wrong payload. Oh, you were right. Now we get refusal and alignment confusion. I'm not sure what I wanted to say about that, but I think we come back to the screen with the refusal from the SQL injection. So you cannot rely on models that are provided by Anthropic, ChatGPT. Kimi is cool, but Kimi also will refuse if you ask him to do some nasty stuff. So we did obliteration on the model. So we answered the model, and right now there is no refusal on any task, but you cannot ask him for MATLAB or something like that. And most important, adapt to current market and customer needs, modularity. So this is something that was lacking in our agent, and right now it's lacking on the agent I see out there. And modularity, like if you want to have tool that do everything a bit, and everybody have different preferences about the tooling, what they are using. Maybe you are a red teamer from the like government intelligence, and you have something that you don't want to share, like super secret NSA. Like NSA had the eternal blue in the pocket, and it was leaked. But probably they, in the time if they come to us and ask, can I add something, they will probably add eternal blue, kind of like themselves. And this is visual of current. It's still right now. Probably it's outdated. I'm 1 week not looking at the agent. I was doing research. So this is example of our agent, how it looks like now. You can just prompt, do a hack the box machine, and he will just do the hack the box machine and show you the path and thinking in a knowledge base. So that's it. But human in the loop, it's old screenshot, but I was doing something like he was trying to test the template injection, but he missed the $sign in a payload, and he was constantly trying doing the SSTI. And I know there is like template injection because we did it previously, and I just told him, man, you're missing the $sign. Oh, okay, thanks.
Thank you. It's time
Oh,
for questions,
okay.
Or can show something
current
more.
implementation, what's next? Just explore new trends, test new tools, have fun. Very nice. Okay.
So fast. So what's... Oh, okay.
Thank you for the presentation. Can you share some successful use for security testing?
Probably yes, but I don't have here. And I think that could be confidential. Like, if you want a demo of the tool, just hit me up later. So.
Any questions more?
So you kind of like implied, but you are using Kimi 2.5 jailbroken, right?
Yes. It's not jailbroken, it's obliterated. So back to the slide about the obliteration, we did some kind of research. We did ourselves obliteration. So our ML specialist was just doing modification in the weights of the model where the refusal is happening. And the funny part from this obliteration is that if you obliterate and you only specific the refusal on the cybersecurity space, it eliminates some vectors that is responsible for other refusals. So instead using like lobotomy, we use the sledgehammer, and it was really problematic because if you do the like obliteration on only cybersecurity space, it also was open to tell you everything, like create a meth lab or something like that.
Someone? Or thanks. Thanks for the present.
Thank you.